What's up, gang? Welcome into Good Morning Lambeau. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay here on a NFL Week 9 kind of game day morning, I guess you could say. We're going to talk about the games that are going to be kicking off a little later today. And also the Carolina Panthers, and who are they playing? They just kicked off the New York Giants. So a couple 2-7 teams in Germany. If you guys are interested in that snooze fest, it just got underway. We'll be giving you updates on that one as well. So people are going, why are you hating on those two teams, Clayton? Because they suck, just like this show. Tim, how we doing this morning, buddy?
Doing great, man. Got the diesel going. I'm already like almost a whole cup in already, man.
That's what I'm talking about. I got 1 cup in, man. I've been drinking my coffee a little different here lately. I like to do 3 shots of espresso, hit it with some heavy cream, and just ride the wave. You know what I'm saying?
You're just like my wife, man. My wife does that. I don't know how you guys do that. I would be literally bouncing off the walls and then probably just pass out.
And sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you get a little antsy. But hey, every now and again, man, you just need to have your pulse checked. You know what I mean? Just make sure that thing's
get tuned up. Get tuned up on a Sunday morning. There you go.
Exactly. What is this, Jake G? Man, I just happened to look down at a random jalapeno poppers for breakfast today, folks. My God, that's what I'm talking about, man.
Jalapeno poppers for breakfast?
Let's go. I'm all about it.
Jake's got to be in his 20s still. There's just no way. There's no way us old dogs can eat jalapeno poppers for breakfast.
The chat is already on fire, Tim. Nick McSwain says, this Carolina Panthers New York Giants game is the worst thing that happened in Germany since World War II.
That's terrible.
That is terrible. Man, I tell you, it's I can't argue with it though. I gotta be real. It's pretty bad, man. I heard somebody say online, they're like, what the hell did the German people do to deserve this game? Like, can we not give them something better than this? Unbelievable. I love the international games, Tim. I don't know how you feel. And I can respect and understand if people don't like them. But, man, there's just so many passionate fans overseas. I love the fact that if you hear them, too, the chants, how loud the crowds get, it's awesome. I think it's a really cool thing.
I do, too. And it's just a testament to how big football has become globally now, and it's huge in Europe, absolutely huge. And I think it's a disservice not to let the European fan base get the opportunity to see football. I mean, even if it is two of the worst teams playing, those people probably love it, and they're going to stay for the whole game. And it's an opportunity to see NFL football. So I'm all for it. And hopefully they'll give them some kind of a game today. We'll see.
Yeah. Jake G126 says, I work third shift. I'm not normal.
Oh, man, there we go. I
remember my first taste of third shift. I was 19 years old. And I said, what is this sorcery? And I realized real quick, it's okay to eat what you want when you want. Pretty damn cool, to be honest with you.
Yep.
And ever since then, I'm kind of like Jake. That's why I was laughing at the poppers, because I can pretty much eat anything, anytime. I can. So pretty cool.
I'm still adjusting out of third shift mode years later after doing it and trying to be a normal person. That's why I struggle to get up in the morning. So I totally get it. Yeah, jalapeno poppers all day long. Let's go.
I love it. Ben Holden said Tyrone Tracy Jr. Tyrone Tracy, if I remember correctly, was the running back when we did our sleepers of the draft. Remember that episode, Tim? We all kind of went through and picked, hey, here's a guy that nobody's talking about that I really like. And Tyrone Tracy was mine, if I remember correctly. I could be getting him mixed up with someone else. I'm going to try to see where he's at on my board, because he wasn't like crazy high on the board, but the people I respect were talking about him a lot. I'm trying to find it here. Where you at? So I had him lit up in the green, basically saying like, hey, here's a dude you want to really kind of put a target on. He's toward the lower half, and I don't really want to take the time to count it off, but he was the guy that Greg Cosell was talking about, like, watch out for this kid. He is going to excel at the next level. He's got great contact balance. He's great at catching the football. And here, lo and behold, I'm hearing a lot of people talk about, I think he was one of the picks today to say take his over. I think the over-under was set at like 60 yards because he's gotten 80 yards in like the last so many games. Just a dominant player. And that's what I love about our draft coverage is we're constantly trying to find those little gems that really kind of, a couple of years ago it was Puka Nacua for me too. How the hell is Puka Nacua not a first-round talent? This is crazy. And everybody had him way down on the board, like, the people consensus big board. When I say everybody, guys, I'm talking about the consensus big board. You got a bunch of people in the media that throw all their stuff into one pot, and he was like, just nobody was talking about him. I'm going, man, this kid looks like he is going to be dominant at the NFL level. And lo and behold, Puka ends up being a great player. So Ben Holden says Tyrone Tracy, junior wide receiver, switched to running back. I think he switched his junior year, if I remember correctly, Ben. I could be wrong there, but it seemed like he did come out as a receiver. They switched him to running back. And I remember Greg Cosell specifically saying, Tim, this is a guy that you can line him up in the backfield as a running back. You can put him at the boundary X. You can throw him in the slot. You can use him on jet sweeps. He's just kind of that Swiss Army knife. So I think he might have went to the Giants, if I remember correctly. So sucks for him, but maybe they'll turn it around, right?
Yeah, but that's what we talked about, right? Versatility in the way that you're drafting your players and setting up your team. One-dimensional guys, they have their roles, but you've got to be versatile in this modern NFL. And the ability to play at more than one spot and do more than one thing is huge. I mean, that sounds a lot like how we talk about Tucker Kraft in our offense, just being a Swiss Army guy and a dude that play a little running back, little quarterback if you need him to, little receiver. So I love it.
Definitely. So we put a poll question out here on YouTube this morning, gang. Feel free to vote. If you guys are on Twitter, you can click on my profile. You'll see our YouTube link. You can actually click on that link, hop into the YouTube stream, and vote real quick and go on about your merry way if you'd like to get your voice heard here. But ML Football had tweeted something out and said, if you can add one of your team's former players in their prime for the stretch run of the season, who would it be? And, I'm not saying I would pick Clay Matthews, but the first person that came to mind for me was Clay. Like, man, the versatility. Could you imagine him and Edgerrin Cooper moving around on that defensive front? And, many people were saying like Reggie White. Reggie White was dominant, but with the way that Hafley is kind of attacking things right now, it's almost like Reggie would be a waste in this type of defense and how we're really playing kind of conservative up front with the big boys and not really letting them pin their ears back and go. But I'm not saying I wouldn't vote for Reggie either, but Clay came to mind like, boy, Clay in this defense would be an absolute blast. So the poll question on YouTube, the way I had to word it because we're limited on characters, was which of these former Packers in their prime would you add for the stretch run this season? Reggie White, Charles Woodson, Aaron Rodgers, and I put other. You can just mention that in the comments. So, Tim, of those three players, or is there someone else you would rather see if you could add them in their prime and at the peak performance of their career, you could throw them right on this team right now to help you try to go on a run here in 2024? Reggie White, Charles Woodson, Aaron Rodgers. I don't think there's a bad answer, to be honest with you. But what do you think?
There isn't. And if there is, it'd probably be Aaron would probably be the the bad answer, I guess, depending on how you feel about our quarterback room. But I would go, I guess, with Charles Woodson just because of the fact that, Evan Williams is, hasn't seen the field here. Hopefully he's coming back soon. But even with a healthy Evan Williams, can you imagine being able to have Xavier McKinney and Charles Woodson back there? And then you've got the freedom to, play Evan Williams in the slot or, line him up as a box linebacker or something. And I guess my pick for other would be, you talk about Clay Matthews, he'd be fun to see. I think AJ Hawk would be fun to see in the middle of the field with this linebacker group, put him out there with Edgerrin Cooper and Quay. So, I guess my vote would be Charles Woodson, one of my favorites of all time for sure.
Looks like Eric Sutherland agrees with you. We'll get to all the answers here in a second going through. Man, there's some comedians in here too, Tim. You knew they were going to come out of the woodwork here. But let's see here. Let's start with Andre. So Andre says about the poll, I would add to the offensive line Bakhtiari or Brian Bulaga. I like it.
Brian Bulaga, Iowa.
Woo. Man, I like it, man. And listen, Bulaga I think he was the youngest offensive lineman in the history of the NFL to start in a Super Bowl, if I remember correctly. Just wild to think about. A lot of young players came through the league for sure. Nick McSwain, we'd probably be undefeated if Prime Rodgers was the quarterback. All right, so he's going with Aaron Rodgers. Here's some of the comedians. Jared in the chat says Sam Shields. Maybe he was being serious. I don't know. Here's another one, 2-0 for this. Ty Summers. He said that wasn't a typo. Ty would bring the Dubs. Let's see. Professor Cakes. My other would be Nick Collins. I think that's a great one, man.
Nick the pick.
Yeah. And Nick is one of those guys. There's no doubt in my mind. You could throw him in the slot when you're in your nickel, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Imagine putting Nick in a slot in your nickel and then having Evan Williams still on the field.
Oh my God.
Evan Williams, Xavier McKinney, and Nick Collins back there in a big nickel look.
Bunch of guys that cover like corners and hit like linebackers, man. That would be awesome.
Absolutely. Eric Sutherland says Charles Woodson all day, every day, man. Wood was something special in that Super Bowl run, Tim.
I mean, just built different, like I'll never forget that play where he just shattered his clavicle, collarbones just shredded, his arms just hanging there, and he plays the next down.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then he gets a PBU on the next down and then leaves the field. I mean, just pure grit, man. Charles Woodson, Hall of Famer and deserves it. And it's okay that he went in as a Raider, but we'll always have our Green Bay memories. And he didn't get a Super Bowl with the Raiders, did he?
No, he did not. And that Super Bowl halftime speech is legendary. Anybody who played on that team talks about that speech. They don't give all the details. They just talk about him being emotional and what it meant to him. And I think that played a huge role. I guarantee you the coaches like, we don't need to say a thing. Let's go. Let's get out there. Let's get after it. So let's see here. Professor Cake says 1A Charles Woodson, 1B Nick Collins. Can't go wrong with either of those. And Nick McSwain says special teams ace Bostic. What is your problem, Nick? Get out of here with
jokes
that.
Early here. Wow.
Oh, man. All right. So, again, I thought that would be kind of cool just to hit that real quick. Again, shout out to ML Football who put that question up. I thought, man, that's great. That's a great question just here for the stretch run. And
one more from Rel. We got Leroy Butler, another one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Be another ace back there in the secondary.
Yeah. And as you see those come in, Tim, if you notice them in the comments, just throw them up on the screen and read them off, right? As we move forward here through the stream. Sometimes guys come in a little late, but all right. So a little bit of Packers news, nothing crazy, but I thought this was interesting, Tim. You guys remember the helmet to helmet penalty or fine? I think it was a fine, not a penalty, if I remember correctly, that Josh Jacobs got earlier in the year. So the NFL fined Packers running back Josh Jacobs a whopping $45,020 for unnecessary roughness use of the helmet last week. No flags was thrown.
Here's terrible.
It was against Tennessee. All right. And first of all, how the hell did they come up with the $20, Tim? What's up with the $20? It's like 45,000 isn't enough. You got to hit them with the 20 on the end of it. You know what I'm saying? Roger Goodell looking for a cold beer or something at the ball game, or what's the deal?
I don't know. I just
pretty wild.
I don't understand it.
Well, you're going to be happy because Tom Pelissero quote tweeted that tweet from September 28th and said Josh Jacobs' $45,020.73 fine has been rescinded in its entirety, per his agent Chad Weissling, either way. The second time in as many years Jacobs has had a fine for use of the helmet erased on appeal. A third fine was also reduced. So Josh Jacobs got that money back, or I guess he never paid that money because it was in the appeal process. This is a dub right here, Tim. Listen, isn't huge breaking news or anything, but I'm glad to see that the NFL kind of pulled it back. And it's almost like it feels like the NFL is saying, hey, look, we've got to make this a headline so people don't do it often. And then we're going to give your money back. Just walk through the appeal process. They feel like that to you, too?
It does. It just also feels like, I don't know. There was no flag thrown on this play.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, what are we doing? We're going through every single snap with a fine-tooth comb. We're looking at each of the 11 guys on both sides of the ball, and we're looking for something to fine a guy on. And it's just, I could see if it was flagged, and then he's got to appeal. You know what I mean? And then the league made a decision to fine him, and now he's got to appeal that because of the call on the field. Okay, I understand that. And we also know we've seen a ton of times on tape where things look and sound like they're helmet to helmet, or they look and they sound like it's a dirty play or an illegal hit. And then you watch the film and you realize it wasn't. It was clean. The game can be deceiving, so I get why they have to go back and look at game film like this, but I don't know what we're doing anymore here. I really don't. To me, a running back lowering the crown of the helmet and spearing someone with their helmet, that's a blatantly obvious play, and running backs go low all the time. We talk about pad level. It's part of football. So usually the more nefarious plays are very obvious and very easy to call. And I just don't get why we're going through looking for reasons to take these guys' money. I don't get it.
Yeah. And I like what Prince says here in the chat, $20 shipping and handling fee. There you go. All right. Makes sense. Let's see.
Boy.
All right. So again, just wanted to give an update on that. I think it's good news. I do, but at the same time, it is kind of frustrating that I'm glad the flag wasn't thrown, Tim, and I know you agree.
Yeah.
Right. It's odd that it wasn't even a flag on the field, but then you go back and you try to find the guy. It just looks weird.
But like you said, though, it's good news that at least they got it right. Because we've seen a lot of times they'll go to the film and they still get it wrong. So thank God.
Yeah. We got a special request here from Nate Dog 307. He says the pack is back. So we'll get that one queued up.
Just here to tell you, pack is back.
You heard it from a fan right here.
All right, let's see here. 45K. Drew D says 45K is a huge fine as well. That's a lot of money. It is.
I mean, that's like what for Josh Jacobs? That's like a third of his week's pay or whatever. Like I don't know what his game check is, but that's not a little bit of money.
Yeah, it is a pretty good chunk, man. It is, especially when you see, players, and this in no way, shape, or form is this a shot at anyone, but you see so many players that get out of football and they didn't handle their money properly, and then all of a sudden you hear about them, struggling. I'm not asking anybody to feel sorry for them. I'm just saying those guys that post-career that might have just spent, 2-3 years in the league and now they're struggling to make it in this crazy economy like a lot of Americans are. They probably look up and go, boy, I could use 45 G's right now. So It is what it is, right?
Very true. Especially when you leave the game and your body's a mess and you're having to go see doctors and deal with the physical toll that the game puts on you for the rest of your life, regardless of if you only played a handful of years. It doesn't matter. So I hear you.
Yeah, checking in on the poll question. Which of these former Packers in their prime would you add for the stretch run this season? Reggie White, Charles Woodson, Aaron Rodgers, or other? Mention it in the comments. Reggie White running away with it, Tim. No surprise. 88% of the vote says, give me Reggie White here, boys. And let's just go get this Lombardi and bring it home. Can't argue with that at all, man.
Reggie White out there with one hand just throwing tackles all over the place. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, man, let's move it along here. And again, we're going to get into a little preview of the games coming up. It's going to be kind of a week 9 preview. We'll do that on the second half of the show here. But wanted to hit on this, Tim. I put a tweet out, and we were talking. We were going to kind of take a look at Matt LaFleur and say, okay, where does he sit all-time, winning percentage, all that good stuff. Looked it up, and according to Pro Football Reference, he is 12th all-time in NFL history in head coach winning percentage. All right. And I've got this queued up to where we can actually pull the list up as well. So we'll go ahead and do that. And here is the list. We'll try to zoom it in where everybody can see it.
Can you pull this up real quick first? Bam! Tupac LaFleur.
I love it. And now, listen, there's always going to be negative Nancy's in the comments on Twitter. Somebody immediately said, what's his playoff winning percentage? Okay, I got it. Just thanks, Ab. Such a strange way to fan that you point out, okay, here, hey, man, look, here's where he is all time. Well, let's try to find the statistic that paints the worst picture, and let's go mention that. Miserable human beings. But anyway, all-time leaders. Let's read them off. Guy Chamberlain. All right. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to read how many games they actually coached in. Guy Chamberlain has the highest winning percentage in the history of the NFL. He only coached in 81 games, but still a pretty good sample size, right?
Here's a guy.
He went 58-16 with 17 ties, a 784 winning percentage. Second on the list is the great coach John Madden. People are going, what? Yeah, that's right. John Madden, most people watching the stream know him from the video game, right? Madden football. Others may know him from, he was one of, if not the best NFL analyst on TV. Did work for CBS for a long time, then switched over to Fox for even longer, then ended up doing some Monday Night Football with Al Michaels. Just one of the best. I think he is the best announcer in the history of the game. He and Pat Summerall, Tim, if you had to have 2 announcers call a game for the rest of my life, it's going to be those 2 guys right there, man.
That's our childhood right there, Clayton. We grew up watching them. That's everything right there. There's
nothing better, man. If you grew up watching football in the 1990s, not the 1890s, the 1990s. If you grew up watching football in the 1990s and you just want some nostalgia, just go to YouTube. Type in any random, just say week 3 or week 5, 1996, 1992, whatever it may be. And you're going to get a multitude of games pop up. And just comb through until you find one with John Madden and Pat Summerall. It could be the worst 2 teams in the league, and it doesn't matter. You're gonna nostalgia overload. you're going to be grinning like a possum in a dumpster the entire game. It's just absolutely awesome, man.
John Madden revolutionizing TV with the telestrator live on TV. That was huge. I remember the first time I saw that. Bringing a little bit of coaching to the broadcast. That's what made it so great, because he would give you a breakdown right away.
Yeah, he not only rambled, but he rumbled and stumbled.
Just the GOAT. Now, and listen, we sit here and spent 6 or 7 minutes talking about how great of an announcer John Madden was. He's the second highest winning percentage NFL coach in NFL history at 759. His record was 103 and 32 with 7 ties. Got 100. I mean, that is phenomenal, man. That is absolutely awesome. Third on this list, Tim, you may have heard about this guy, Vince Lombardi.
Here's the guy.
He coached 136 games. His win total was 96. He lost 34 with 6 ties, had a winning percentage of 738. And we all know Vince Lombardi, what made him so great are those championships, those 5 championships. His playoff record. What is his playoff win percentage? His playoff win percentage. You ain't ready for this, Tim.
90?
Vince Lombardi's playoff win percentage, if this is correct on Pro Football Reference, 900. That is insane. Like, I've got to do it real quick. We'll come back to the overall. I got to know, is there anybody close? Weeb, not Dweeb, but Weeb Eubank is sitting at 800. So 100 full points below Vince Lombardi. And, at 800. But Vince Lombardi, a 900 winning percentage in the playoffs. That is absolutely wild, man. That's wild. So they don't call him the GOAT for no reason, right, Tim?
Oh, no, not at all. And, of course, we get legendary quotes all the time. Like,
Get any better than that. Number 4 on the list is George Allen. Coached in 168 games. His win percentage is 116 and 47 with 5 ties. All right. If I remember correctly, George Allen, I think he coached in Washington, but I'm almost positive he made his hay with the LA Rams back in the day with the Fearsome Foursome and those guys. Because I think I seen a documentary of how Deacon Jones, who was just one of the best pass rushers in the history of the game, he's invented the head slap. He also invented the term sack. If you guys don't know this, if you go way back before Deacon Jones, you don't see sacks recorded, right? And if you include Willie Davis's sacks, I think someone went back and actually tallied up Willie Davis's tackling the quarterback behind the line of scrimmage, essentially a sack when the quarterback's trying to pass the ball. I think Willie Davis might be the all-time leader in sacks, but sacks weren't recorded for a large majority, if not all, of his career with the Green Bay Packers. But Deacon Jones, in an interview, you can pull it up on YouTube, he said, yeah, a sack, it's like you take the whole – when you hit the quarterback, when you sack the quarterback, it's like taking the whole offense and putting them in a bag, like a burlap sack, and tying the top and just beating that bag with a baseball bat. That's what Deacon Jones said. So they said, you know what? Let's just call that a sack. You run the entire play, you sack the play. That's where it came from. Pretty cool history there. So I'm pretty sure it was George Allen. I could be wrong. You guys correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure George Allen coached up Deacon Jones and those guys with the Fearsome Foursome. Merlin Olsen, I believe was his name too. Another excellent pass rusher there. Anyway, up next on the list is Tommy Hewitt. Is that how you would say that, Tim? Hughitt?
I think so. Yeah, Hewitt.
Hewitt, damn right. All right, 694 is the win percentage for him. He was 34 and 15. Now, it's worth mentioning, only coached in 56 games. All right, so a much smaller sample size. Blanton Collier coached in 112 games, 76 wins, 34 losses, and 2 ties for a winning percentage of 691. Up next, Jim Harbaugh. This might catch people off guard. Jim Harbaugh was really, really good head coach out there in San Francisco. And we're going to see how he does in LA. It's still really, really early, but he's 7th all time. He's coached in 72 NFL games. He's won 49 games, lost 22, and only tied 1 for a 688 winning percentage. Ray Flaherty. How do you say it, Tim?
Flaherty. Yeah. Flaherty.
See, I got it right. See, I thought I was being too southern there. Flaherty. 1 syllable. 684 is his winning percentage. Then you got Papa Bear Hallis with 497 games coached. That's got to be toward the top, if not the top of most games coached.
For sure. 40
George
years.
Halas, yep.
Yeah.
497 games coached, and George Halas was 318 and 148 with 31 ties for a 682 winning percentage. 10th on this list catches everybody off guard. Nick Sirianni, who some would say is on the hot seat in Philly a couple weeks ago, Tim. This dude, 59 games coached, only 59, 40 wins, only 19 losses, 678 win percentage. I mean, you hit the soundbite. Does that catch you off guard too?
Yeah, just a little bit, but important to highlight the fact that 4 seasons, okay, 59 games on the lower end of the sample size, which makes George Halas's numbers even more impressive because there's way more games, way more coaching. So it's a little bit tougher to maintain that percentage. I'm not going to bag on Sirianni too much. I will say this, Tupac LaFleur will pass Sirianni on this list. It's going to happen. I believe it.
Yeah, I think so too. Up next, the great Don Shula. You guys don't know who Don Shula is. This man, wow, what an amazing coach. Coached with the Baltimore Colts for a long time. Went to Miami, coached there. Has the only undefeated team in the history of the game. I think the 72 Dolphins, undefeated season, I should say. They still celebrate it every year, every time the last team that's undefeated loses the game. But he coached for 33 years. And from 1963 to 1995, well, you talk about seeing trends come and go. You maintain that kind of success, that is wild. 328 wins, 156 losses, 6 ties, winning percentage of 677. Some would say he's the greatest of all time. I don't know. When you look at winning percentage, it would suggest there's other coaches that were better. Like John Madden, George Halas, definitely. The fact that he has a higher winning percentage and coached in 7 more games than Don Shula. Now, the only difference is, if I remember correctly, Don Shula actually has the most wins, though. So he had far fewer ties than George Halas. So that's why he's got the all-time wins list. And this is why Belichick was planning on staying in the game. Bill Belichick at 302 is third on the list. So he just needs, what does he need there? 26 more wins to tie Don Shula. Will it happen? I don't know. I think he will get a head coaching job next year. I think he's primed for it. It's something he wants to continue to do. But nonetheless, Don Shula, an amazing coach. So right below him in winning percentage at 674 is our very own Matt LaFleur. Coached in 92 games now, 62 wins, 30 losses, no ties. Have we really not tied a single game under Matt LaFleur? That's interesting.
Correct.
Yeah. I like that. I hate ties, Tim. I don't know how you feel about that, man.
I do too. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. They need to change that rule.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you could just leave the overtime format exactly how it is, and if there's a tie, you play another period and just get a win, man. I don't understand it.
I agree. I don't know if it's a traditional thing, and let's play devil's advocate for a second, Tim. If you remove the tie, I can understand the argument that now skews the statistics of the coaches in the past. Like we just talked about, and I'm just now, this wasn't something I thought about offline. It just now hit me. Maybe the reason they're keeping it in is like we just talked about how George Halas has a higher winning percentage than Don Shula because Don Shula has far fewer ties than George Halas because that doesn't technically count into just you wipe that game out. If you remove the tie today, that would kind of skew the stats moving forward, wouldn't it? Wouldn't you say?
I think so, but I
still hate it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I do, and I think not having ties is better for football. I mean,
yeah, right.
And it certainly would make things a lot, I guess, easier or more streamlined when it comes to like the playoff picture. Because when you see the teams that have ties, it screws up the record. Right? It's not a win. It's not a loss. It's like nothing happened. So when you do playoff seeding and you've got someone with a tie in there, or you got two teams in a division with ties, it just you got to go into the tie breaks and all the the inner minutia of what the playoff seeding and the rules are. I'd love to see them play until somebody wins. I really would. Yeah.
And Fred McFarley in the chat said, "Where is Mike Holmgren?" Mike Holmgren comes in at the 43 spot. Believe it or not, Mike Holmgren's win percentage is 592. He was 161 with wins and 111 losses. Okay, So sitting at 592, that puts him in the 43 spot as far as winning percentage. Now, if we were to go to all-time wins, let's see where he comes in. I'd say he would probably be a little higher, I would imagine. Maybe. Yeah, here he is. So now he's 21st in overall wins on the overall wins list there. So with 161 wins. All right. Any other ones you want to see that come to mind, Tim, that you go, hey, man, I'd like to see his winning percentage?
Good old Mike Tomlin. Hold on.
I was going to say, like, it's pretty interesting that Matt LaFleur has a higher winning percentage than Andy Reid and Mike Tomlin and Sean Payton, right?
But of those three, he's missing something that all those guys have.
Very, very true. And in some cases, multiples with Andy Reid, right? So obviously we're talking about Super Bowl victories there. Look at Mike McCarthy, 35th all-time at 613.
Coach Mac's not doing himself any favors right now, though, to move up this list.
Yeah. You see some great names down here, too, man. Bill Parcells, Hall of Famer, 569 winning percentage. Chuck Noll, Hall of Famer. I think
Wade
the cross
Phillips
next to it, that means they're Hall of Famers with the cross. Yeah, Wade Phillips, that's kind of surprising, 562, right?
Yep.
So there's Mike Ditka at 57 with a 560. Anyway, I just thought it'd be cool to kind of dive into that. But once again, the whole point was our boy Matt LaFleur in winning percentage is about to crack the top 10. It keeps this thing going, Tim. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is cool. I'm glad we did this. That was fun.
All right, we got a couple starred in here. Let's hit them real quick. Nick McSwain says Packers under LaFleur are 28-11 in games played after the bye, but 2-3 in games the week after the bye. Wonder why they struggle the week after. That's a great question, man. I don't know. We had a chance to obviously make that 3-3 this coming week against the Bears. So let's see if we can put that together. Tim,
we did get the dub coming out of the bye last year, though.
I think we did. Yeah.
Yep.
Remember correctly. So
we're on the right track. Let's do it again.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he figured it out. And listen, it could just be fluky, right? It really could. It could be you're outthinking yourself. You're overthinking, right? Because you got that extra week to kind of prepare for the team. You know, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, rather than focus on what you just do well. I don't know. I'm never going to complain about a team being overprepared. That's just me. Like to me, you can never have too much information. Now, obviously, what do they call? I'm trying to think of the term they use. Being paralyzed by too much information.
Analysis paralysis.
There it is. Paralysis by analysis is how I've always heard it. Yeah. So it probably is a real thing. You know, United Bates in the chat. Prior to the term sack, the term dump was often used, as the NFL Statistical Office recorded all sacks under, quote, dumping the passer. That is really cool, man. That's awesome. Sounds like a Taylor Swift song, don't it? Dumping the passer. Fred McFarley. I don't listen
too much Taylor Swift.
Perfect. Yeah. Fred McFarley, pretty impressive how many Green Bay head coaches on this list. Yeah, it's a great point. Great point. So,
yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
All right. So let's see what else we got in here, Tim. We were going to hit on a couple other things. Let's go around the league real quick, though. I think this is really, really important to kind of take a glance and say, okay, what's going on today in the NFL since the Packers are not playing in this game, or in this week, rather. Playoff picture, first things first. Detroit Lions, the number 1 seed in the NFC. Washington Commanders 2, Atlanta Falcons 3, Arizona Cardinals 4, Vikings 5, Eagles 6, and then the Green Bay Packers are your 7 seed currently right now, sitting at 6-3. In the AFC, it's the Chiefs 1, Bills 2, Steelers 3, Texans 4, Ravens 5, Chargers 6, Broncos 7. So that kind of sets the tone for today. We'll glance back and forth to it as we look at some of these games. Obviously, the Giants and the Panthers are underway. The Panthers have now scored. We're starting in the second quarter. They're leading the Giants 7-0. This game is more about that draft order on the right there, Tim.
Yeah.
Obviously, if the Panthers beat the Giants will leapfrog them and now probably fall somewhere around the 4 spot, depending on what the Browns and the Raiders do today as far as the NFL draft order. As it sits right now, if the NFL draft happened tomorrow, the Patriots would have the first pick, Jaguars 2, Saints 3, Panthers 4, Browns 5. And, of course, the Bears will have the 18th pick. They're still creeping right around the first half of the first round, as they always are. So there is how the draft order sits currently right now. So The 1 o'clock games today, you got the Bills at the Colts, the Broncos at the Chiefs, the Steelers at the Commanders, the Falcons at the Saints. You got the 49ers at the Buccaneers, the Patriots at the Bears, and the Vikings at the Jaguars. I guess we could start with the Jaguars, Tim. Trevor Lawrence is definitely not playing. It's going to be Mac Jones starting quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars today. And I just want to say this, shout out to Nerding on NFL for this graphic. They are a phenomenal follow. Go find them on X. They are excellent.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is our call sheet every week right here. I love it. I love the format.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think the Jaguars have a chance to beat the Vikings, seeing that Trevor Lawrence is out and Mac Jones is going to be the starter? Because if Mac Jones plays like he did his rookie year, he really protected the football well. I think he was in the running, if not won the rookie of the year. He didn't win rookie of the year. He was in the running for it, and he made the Pro Bowl. I think someone dropped out, and he actually got picked for the Pro Bowl. So I'm not going to sit here and rule out that the Jaguars could potentially win this game. But what do you think, man? It's going to be an uphill battle for them, right?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's what I was going to say. I'm not going to write them off and say they don't have a chance in hell, but they do have to try and cut through the teeth of that Minnesota defense. And anytime your QB1 goes down, you're gonna see a change offensively. So I think it's going to be more about what Doug Peterson comes up with for a game plan and how they want to try and attack the Vikings. I'll tell you what, I'm certainly rooting for them today, for sure.
Yeah. So another game to watch. Obviously, we mentioned Jacksonville and Minnesota. All the games that really have implications on the Packers season here, as you can see the standings in the middle column. San Francisco at Tampa Bay, that 1 o'clock game. San Fran is in third place in the NFC West. They're sitting at 4-4. Tampa Bay is currently in second place at 4-5. Me personally, I'm rooting for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to beat the Niners, get them to that 5-loss total there as we start to creep into Week 10 here. So
I agree 100% with that. Because at this point you're looking, it's almost, wins are one thing, but like you want certain teams to get the loss column going. And I would agree. We need San Fran to get a fifth loss here. Yeah,
for sure. Another game that matters to the Packers, New England at Chicago. Obviously, Chicago is currently sitting at 4-4. They're dead last. We want them to be 4-5 by the end of this day. So we're going to be pulling for the New England Patriots to win that ball game there in Chicago. I'm sure you agree with that, Tim. You're not a closet Bear fan, are you?
How dare you?
Tell him, Greta.
How dare you, Clayton? That's just blasphemy on a Sunday too. That's terrible.
Some would say that's terrible. So New England, we're New England fans today.
That's
All right, next game. Yeah, next game, Minnesota at Jacksonville. We already talked about. We're rooting for Jacksonville. New York Jets at the Arizona Cardinals. Guys, here's the good news. We get to root for Aaron Rodgers today, man. Pretty cool, right? Like old times. Aaron and Devontae out there trying to get a dub as the Jets go into Arizona. That's a 4:25 kickoff Eastern time, 3:25 Lambeau time. Obviously, we're pulling for the Jets to beat the Cardinals. And the reason being the Cardinals are sitting at 5-4. We want all these NFC teams to lose as many games as possible to help us in the wild card hunt. If for some reason we can't climb back in the NFC North, we're currently sitting in third place at 6-3. The Vikings are at 6-2 at second place, and then the Lions leading the way at 7-1.
Let's go Green Bay East.
Exactly.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
It's going to be kind of cool rooting for Tay today, isn't it, man?
Yeah, man. It'll be awesome.
Like old times again, for sure. All right, another 4 o'clock window game you want to keep your eye on as a Packer fan is Philadelphia at Dallas. I remember when this rivalry meant something. This year, it's lost its pizzazz, whatever you want to say.
Other than the fact that these two teams hate each other, that's still very, very true.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be Cooper Rush starting at quarterback against the Eagles, and the Eagles they're on a heater, man. They're playing good ball. They're second in the NFC East right now behind the Washington Commanders at 6-2. So the Cowboys sitting at 3-5. We're somehow, some way wanting the Dallas Cowboys to win this game against Philly, right?
What's the deal with Dak? Is he officially out like for the year, or?
Let's see. Nick McSwain says he's out for the season. I wasn't aware that he was out for the entire season, but maybe that is the case. I do know that the injury was worse than they had originally thought. So maybe that is the case. If someone else could confirm, Nick, thank you for that information. If anyone else can confirm that too, I'm pretty sure he is out for the season. Yeah, there's Drew D. Yeah, Dak has done. He's getting hamstring surgery, is what Nick says. So there you go, man. iRock says the Jets. Oh, that is our team from 3 years ago. It's so true, man. It's so true.
You heard it from a fan right here.
We're rooting for Coach Mike McCarthy to somehow, some way pull out an upset there at home against the Philadelphia Eagles. And then the final game will be Sunday night's game of the week on NBC Football Night in America. Immediately following Football Night in America, you got the Detroit Lions at the Houston Texans.
Oh, man.
Houston is, I wanted to say they've taken a step back this year. But, man, when you look at them, they're 6-3. They're 2 games up in their division. They're playing pretty damn good ball, same as the Packers, really. Yeah. This is going to be – I think it's going to be a fun game, man. They call that the Stroud House down there in Houston. It's going to be loud. It's one of the loudest stadiums in the league. I didn't realize that, but Pat McAfee talked about it, how when they would go down there and play, it's like you have no idea how loud that stadium can get. And he talked about, obviously playing when J.J. Watt played and just how much buzz there was in the air. That buzz is back in Houston, no doubt about it, man. Who knows? Maybe Houston could knock off the Lions. That would be a great ending to a bye week for us, right?
I know I'm going to be watching this game for sure. Yeah, definitely.
And, again, I'm sure we're going to have Detroit coming back up here real soon. Let me pop this back up on the screen real quick.
Week 14, I think we have them.
Yeah, week 14. So this would be a good way to kind of see, okay, how does Houston play them, right? What you're looking for with Detroit, they're on such a heater that, like, you look back and go, okay, what games did they lose? I think they lost to Tampa, if I remember correctly. So you want to pull that tape and go, okay, what did Tampa do to win that ball game? And the next loss that they get, you want to take that and go, okay, here's how this team beat them. Now, sometimes it might be fluky. Sometimes you might look up and go, man, they just turned the ball over a couple times, made some boneheaded decisions, and there's not a whole lot to glean from the tape. But you're looking for that blueprint to beat these really, really hot teams for sure. So, again, we'll face them again in week 14 as they're sitting at 7-1 right now. I'm with you, Tim. This has got to be the game of the week, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it'll be a good one. I mean, you got 2 really good teams here. And, we're all Texans fans tonight for sure. Yeah. Go CJ Stroud.
And then Monday night, you've got Miami for the Monday Night Football. You've got Miami traveling to the L.A. Rams. And obviously, we want Miami to win that ball game to knock the Rams on down. They're sitting at 4-4. And some people go, Clayton, do we really competing with them at the wild card? Absolutely, guys. You know how this goes. More times than not, we look up the first third of the season, and you feel, here's how the NFL season's going. And then lo and behold, in the back half, you're like, boy, that did not end the way we expected. So,
and our divisional record sucks right now. So, every game does matter, especially once you start rounding the turn here at this point in the season.
Yeah, for sure. So there you go. There is your walk around the league week 10. Just wanted to kind of touch on that as the games are going to be getting kicked off here in a little bit. Anything else you want to add to that, Tim, before we wrap up, man? We covered a lot, but I'm glad we kind of walked around the league there for sure.
No, that's awesome. I'm glad, it's a bye week, but, you want to keep tabs on what else is going on in the league and, enjoy some of these games. We'll get some really good football. We got some really bad football going on right now, but other than that, it should get progressively better. And, I like that we did that because it is important to kind of keep your eye on what's affecting your team. Obviously the only thing we control is, going out there and getting wins. But, when you're sitting here at 6-3 and you got 2 divisional losses, you got to keep one eye on the playoff picture because you look at some of these other divisions in the NFC and it's kind of neck and neck too. And those bottom barrel teams are going to be competing for that last wild card spot. And that's where we're sitting right now. So we need to do our best to move up that list, but we may need some help here at some point. So we'll take all the victories we can.
Yep, no doubt, man. Let's see here. Drew D asked a question. Is Nico Collins back this week? He's a great outlet when Stroud is under pressure. I was thinking he was out for the year, but I don't know why I was thinking that, Drew. I probably have no reason to think that. Let me see if I can search Twitter real quick and just see, which Twitter, man, as a news source is just unbelievable. I don't know when you guys need information. I used to go to Google and then comb through the different, where's that? Now I just straight to Twitter, type in the name, and you get.
I got it.
Let's hear it.
Houston Texas receiver Nico Collins activated off of IR before Sunday Night Football.
Let's go.
That's 6 minutes ago.
That is so huge, Tim.
This is what is this? CW39 out of Houston. So, yeah, this has got to be legit.
And you guys remember we were looking at some of the grades and everything just the other day with wide receivers. Nico, he was right at the top. He was like top 3, maybe even been the highest graded receiver in the league. So that is absolutely huge news for us as Packer fans as they get ready to face the Detroit Lions tonight. So
now I don't know if he's going to play. But
Yeah.
he's off of IR.
That would suggest, right, that you would. We'll see. Hopefully he is. It just seemed like I remember thinking his season was over. It looked so bad, but that's awesome that he's back, though, for sure, man.
Oh, here we go. Fred McFarley's got it. Opened his practice window, not playing.
Not playing.
Tonight.
Oh,
okay.
man. Gotcha. All right. Well, yeah, but definitely not playing. Everybody's pretty much saying, okay, cool. Good deal. Jake G says Nico is game time. I guess here's the thing, Fred.
I guess we'll find out tonight.
Have they already ruled him out? That's the question I've got. I'm going to search real quick. I'm going to go Texans, Lions injury report and see if we can find the latest injury report. Because if they, we'll know if they designated him out or not, right? So let's see. Let's go latest. Give me just a second. This is important information. Lions, Nico Collins, where you at? All right. So Aaron Wilson, who covers the NFL 18 hours ago, tweeted out, Texans wide receiver Nico Collins is now eligible to play Sunday against the Lions, limited in practice and questionable on the injury report, and status still being determined. Tank Dell was wide receiver 1 in practice all week. So it sounds like he didn't practice for the most part. He was limited, right? But he is listed as questionable. When you guys know questionable technically is supposed to mean 50% chance of playing. So we'll see, right? Maybe they activate him, Tim, and have him suited up and try not to put him in unless you get into a situation where like, all right, let's bring him in off the bench and get him involved, right? Could be that. Yeah. Maybe they have him on a snap count too, right? Regardless,
have him running decoy routes all day too, and just use him as a tool to, draw the defense, towards him and free up other guys. But we'll see.
I could see that. All right. Anything else you want to hit, Tim?
No. Shout out to Knuckleheads in the chat getting banned. I love it. We're big time now, Clayton. They're spamming our chat. I'm
telling you, man, it's wild that people think that stuff actually works. It's like
I know,
and I know it's a bot. Like somebody sitting there with Cheetos on their breath, trying to type that stuff in. But yeah, so it's just funny how everybody bashes Rumble like, oh, it's unregulated and this and that, and the same stuff that happens at Rumble happens here. So it is what it is. But shout out to our guys over at Rumble, by the way. Yes. We got a lot of listeners over there. We got, to the best of my knowledge, we have the largest following for any Packers show on Rumble. We have passed, there was a couple of, we actually passed the Packers channel up, which is kind of cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So United Bates with the super chat. Happy birthday to the United States Marine Corps.
Always faithful. 1775. I love it. Right on the nose with the super chat, Mr. Bates. I love it.
I've actually got a shirt Mandy bought me. It's 1776 United. That's got Ton Tavern on the back. It's absolutely. It's just a silhouette of Ton Tavern. And if you know, you know, right? So awesome. Shout out to Bates, super chat. Happy birthday to your Marine Corps, sir, and thank you for your service, man. You are awesome. So,
the oldest branch of the military.
Yeah. Just a bunch of ragtag knuckleheads got together. So, I'm tired of this crap. Let's let's go take care of this. There we go.
Born in a bar, of course.
Yeah, it's got to be, man.
There it is.
Anything great was born in. I was born in a bar. I'm just joking. I wasn't. Clay, somebody in the chat said, "Was that a different kind of bar, Clay? Was that a strip club?" Joseph in the chat, proud U.S. Marine Corps dad here. Absolutely love it. No, thank you, Bates. You're the man, Bob. You're the man. I love this. Nick McSwain. My wife makes fun of me because my phone passcode is 1776. I love it. Love it. Everybody go steal Nick's phone now. I Rock in the chat says, thank you to all that serve our country. Amen to that, I Rock. We're going to end it there. No better way to end it. So shout out Marine Corps. Shout out to everyone who serves. We appreciate y'all.
Give a shout out to my brother from another mother, Tony, in Kuwait right now on a deployment. Probably in the weight room right now or something, tuned into the pod. So what's up there, brother?
Always take care.
Be safe.
All right. Appreciate everybody. Hope y'all have an awesome day. We will be back tonight, for PTA Live at 7 Central. I think Tim's got something going on unless he frees up. I might be flying solo, but nonetheless, we'll come back and we'll give you a rundown of everything that happened today and an update on the standings, playoffs, all that good stuff. We'll also have some good Packer content for y'all too. It's Bears week, baby. I'm going to continue to put together this Chalk Talk episode, and we'll do some Chalk Talk probably tomorrow and Tuesday. We'll do an offense one day, then a defense the next, and then we'll dive right into the Bears. It's going to be a blast. So
The Bears still suck.
Not as much as this show, though, right?
Exactly right. Nick McSwain said this show sucked. It did, and we appreciate y'all sitting through it. Everybody have a great day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.